So the last wine for us to talk about it's a very interesting wine because at this price point, you don't often get 6-year-old Barossa Cabernet. So this is essentially the Orlando Bungalow Lane Barossa Cabernet from 2014. So Ben, where do you find this kind of wine?
Where do you find the grapes, or where do we find the wine itself?
Where do you find the wine?
Yeah, so we've been making this wine for obviously quite a while, and we find that this particular style that we're making, we're going for a big, dark, I think we use the word brooding on this wine, Cabernet. It's very, very Barossan, so don't even think about comparing it to a nice, elegant Pinot Noir Cabernet, because it's got dark chocolate, it's got dark fruits, it's big, it's bold, it's got a little bit of American oak in there, funnily enough. And it's one of those wines that needs a bit of time to settle down in the bottle before it's drinking really well. And so, yeah, it's 6 years of age. That's when we've decided to release it. And yeah, we just think it's really hitting its straps now, and it's about time to get it out into the market.
Tony, Barossa Cabernet, obviously.
Barossa Cabernet, and you need a good year. You need the perfect year, and 2014 was a pretty special year for Barossa Cabernet. You've been able to find the gold there, which I think is pretty good. Again, it's really dense. It's a big, beautiful, cuddly kind of Barossa Cabernet in a sense. I love that all those herbal spice elements, just enough of that sort of herbal to show that it is Cabernet fruit without being over demanding and over dominating. So again, faint mint, faint dark chocolate. And again, the tannins were there as you'd expect in Cabernet, but they've just found a nice kind of rounded graininess to them, which just delivers that wine as it goes down through your palate and as you're drinking it. So, I'm looking at my notes, and with 6 years on now, it's found a sort of point of grace in that wine, rather than it's just the right time. Where it is now is just a really lovely point to start with it. And I really liked it. I'm not necessarily a huge, Barossa Cabernet sort of a specialist and fan on every year, but this one really, rocked my boat. Loved it.
And it's good to see that cedary cigar boxy age character. And I think Tony said it beautifully. It's still got the brightness of freshness of fruit, but then there's also the age making this it's the right time for this. Would you agree with that, Jeni?
Yes. I saw 2014 on the label and my eyes lit up. So again, it's been a theme, hasn't it, about expectation. With so many of these wines, you see something, whoa, okay, 2014, let's see what this one can deliver. And I'd like to actually comment on the fact that we don't see enough aged wines released in Australia. We see them way too young. This was the way it used to be back in the 70s and 80s. You'd get Australian red wines released with at least 6 years of age. And because of various tax rules and things, it all changed. And we have had decades and decades of young Australian reds drunk way before their time. And here is a wine that is celebrating it's not necessarily its best, because clearly it still has a way to go. But I thought, yes, please. Can we have more of this, please? And the balance. So one thing all of my notes talk about is just balance. Nothing's sticking out. Nothing's too obvious. It's just a beautiful piece of winemaking of fruit, oak and tannin and structure. Again, you want a certain degree of structure with Cabernet Sauvignon. You certainly want that when it's coming from the Barossa Valley, I think, because you're thinking maybe it's going to be a warmer Cabernet. It's all there. The structure is so important, and that's what's keeping that wine going and will continue to go. So my hearty congratulations. I just think seeing a 6-year-old wine for what, $35? Yep. Yes, please.
I totally agree with all the things you just said. I thought the same thing. I thought Barossa Cabernet, okay, holy dooly, 2014, oh, it delivers, and it's $35. That is an excuse for anybody to purchase 6 or 12 bottles at that price point.